guys, Lori here. I'm back. I'm back to do my September TBR. I really have no idea what September is going to bring. Gonna be really, really honest with you. If this was a normal school year, I would be getting ready to be commuting. I would be getting ready to do all these things. Everything is so up in the air with COVID and the New York City school system, and I am just really unsure what this month is going to look like at all. Like, I don't know if we're going to be in a building. I don't know if we're going to be. There's just a lot of questions. But the one thing I do know is that I will be reading because that is something I always do. May it be COVID or real life, commuting, not commuting. I will always be reading. One hopes. So I'm just gonna kind of dive in. Every season, like I did this at the start of summer, and you'll be seeing a summer wrap up of all the contemporary books that I read. I always kind of like redo my TBR cart. So I did take a couple of my fall reads, and I kind of redid my TBR cart. So I'm gonna show you right now what my TBR cart looks like. And then I'm going to tell you what I plan to read in this month. This TBR cart, the books on it will probably last me until like mid-October, and then I'll probably get a couple of new ones, but these are the books that I'm going to be pulling from. Because I know this month, regardless of how we do school, will be a little bit chaotic, I did decide to choose two graphic novels for the Time Warp YA Book Club, and that is Wire and Nerves Volume 1 and Wire and Nerves Volume 2, which is the companion graphic novel that is set place after winter in that world following Aiko. I actually do have Wire and Nerves Volume 1. I have to get Volume 2, which I might just get on my Kindle. But that's the first set of books that I am going to read this month. They are quick, so I think I can read them pretty quickly, and I won't have to worry about anything longer. Right now, that's my goal for the Time Warp YA Book Club. Another one of the goals that I did make this summer was to try to complete more series and read more sequels, so I decided to add two to my current TBR, and one is Red Skies Falling by Alex London. This is the sequel to Black Wings Beating that I read, I think in July, I think I read it. And book 3 actually comes out in September, so if I wind up reading this, I'll probably wind up trying to get my hands on it. But this is like a Falconer society. It follows twins. I'm just going to read the back. Deadly Identities, New Love, and Old Magic thrive in this whirlwind sequel to the critically acclaimed Black Wings Beating. And I remember really liking both characters a lot. I got this 2 years ago, I think, at ALA or BEA. No, it's definitely ALA. No, definitely BEA. One of them. But I do really hope that I wind up getting around to reading it, because I really, really liked book 1. Another one that I did add to my TBR was Unravel the Dust by Elizabeth Lynn. This is the sequel to Spin the Dawn. I have had this on my TBR all summer, so I really hope that I finally get around to reading it. And now that I actually am letting myself read non-contemporaries, this one should get read pretty quick. Also, I do have two contemporaries on this, because they are books that I did pick up in August for like my birthday. I picked up Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is like a one day novel that takes place after graduation. It follows Rowan and Neil, and they have been bitter rivals in their school to be like valedictorian. But then they have a game called Howl, and I think it's like a scavenger hunt, and I think they wound up connecting during that. And I've heard such good things about this, and I love books that take place in like one day. I love books that have like a scavenger hunt theme, and I heard that this book was so cute, and it's also my favorite color on the cover, so I'm really excited to dive into this one, hopefully soon. And I heard that this is like a much lighter fare for her contemporaries than her past ones, which have been very intense and very, very dramatic. So I heard that this was like very, very light, and I'm really excited for that. So another one that I'm so excited for, I will have a unboxing coming up soon on my channel, because I did get this box from Fandom Buzz or Fandom. Forgot where I got it. I'll show you guys when I do my unboxing. But A Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. This is the third book in that series, and I have heard such cute things about this. And there is a little dog in it. I know that there is something about a book gone missing It's set in the Once Upon a Con series, and I really, really love this book. I think I still prefer Geekerella to Princess and the Fangirl, but I did like that one as well. And I really hope that I like this one. So this will be a read that I probably read earlier in the month rather than later. But I really hope that I like it. So I'm also adding 3 ebooks to this TBR. The first one is the Quiet No More by Nikki Barslett. That is the sequel to Quiet You Carry. I am on a blog tour for that, for TBR and Beyond Reading Tour Company. That's the second book in that series. It follows a young protagonist, or a young girl named Victoria. The first book follows her as she's put in foster care due to the abuse of her father. The second book is kind of the aftermath of that in her first year of college. So that's kind of the setup of that one. And that also does deal with the trial against her dad. And then the next book that I do have an ebook for is that I am on a blog tour for is I Hope You're Listening by Tom Ryan. And this is like a thriller mystery story that I think has like a podcast twist, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And then the third one is A Golden Fury by Samantha Coho. That is like a alchemist themed fantasy novel that I also am on a blog tour for, but I did get that from Wednesday Books, and that's one that I'm going to hope to read relatively soon. But those are the 3 ebooks that I am focusing on for this TBR. The reason I'm going to start giving you like a lot of ebook titles, or at least have a section in every single reading blog I'm doing, is because ALA and BEA did not happen this year in person. I got a lot of ebooks, like a ridiculous amount of ebooks for all the new titles. So that's why I'm going to be adding a bunch more to this TBR, because I have a lot that I would like to read. So that's why you're going to be seeing a few more ebooks than you normally do up until probably we go back to real life. Year, I did wind up actually reading quite a few like spooky themed novels, because I always stockpile them. So I have about 6 to 7 that I'm just going to kind of leave on my TBR, and hopefully between now and November I can read a bunch of them. But this is the starting pile. I have a bunch more in my fall TBR video that I will be posting in this month, but these are the books I'm going to start reading from, hopefully. The first is Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwitt. And this is books that aren't finished by their authors reside in the Library of the Unwritten in hell. But when the restless characters who emerge from those unfinished stories escape, it is up to the librarian to track them down and keep the collection complete. I also have The Invisible Library, which also has to do with librarians in like peril, and I'm all for it. And I really hope that I wind up liking this one. The sequel is coming out. I picked this up at New York City Comic Con last year. And join the library raise hell. I think that's just a cool thing, but I'm really excited, and I really hope that I like this one, because that's like so my aesthetic. Another one that I am really excited for is Ink in the Blood by Kim Schmelchick. This I think this came out in February. But I'm just gonna read you guys the back. A lush, dark fantasy debut that weaves together tattoo magic, fate, eccentric theater in a world where lies are currency and ink is a weapon. I love any books that have some aspect of like theater in it, because I'm a theater teacher and I love lush novels. I recently finished Finale and I found it to be so lush and so fantastical. So I really hope that I like this one, and I know that the sequel will be coming out soon because I saw it up on NetGalley, but this cover is stunning. And I got this at ALA. If I remember where I got the books, I'll be sure to tell you. Another one is The Midnight Hour by Benjamin Reed and Laura Trinder. And this is just a nice middle grade novel. It's set in London. There's a young girl where things are not exactly as she thinks they are in London, and she becomes well acquainted with a secret society, which so my aesthetic. So I really hope I like it, and it's really not that long. It's not even 300 pages. So this might be a fun like read during whatever I'm allowed to commute again, like a fun train read. Another fun train read will also be Sabrina, Season of the Witch, a prequel novel by Sarah Reese Brennan. This isn't loosely inspired by the TV show, and I remember going into the TV show and being like a little bit confused. So I figured if I read this and then try rewatching the show, I may find a tad more success, because I felt like I was a little bit lost, because I was a Sabrina like Melissa Joan Hart version back in the day. So I feel like going into this and not really reading the comics not really watching Riverdale. I feel like I'm a little bit out of sorts, but I do really, really like the casting, so hope this book may help make the world make more sense to me. Another one that kind of goes into thriller territory is I Kill Zoe Spanos by Kit Frick. And this happens when a young girl named Anna winds up going to this new town, I think, to be a nanny. And she has a very close resemblance to this girl named Zoe Spanos. There's a podcast, and she is eventually, people are convinced that she wound up killing Zoe when her body is uncovered. So I really hope that I like this, and I have not read that many thrillers this year, but this one seemed right up my alley. Another middle grade book that I add to this TBR was Hollow Dolls by Mary Kate Connell. And this is about a mind reader, a young kid that's a mind reader. I just finished the Keeper of the Lost City series, and I am just craving some more middle grade, which is why I added these two to my TBR. But this one sounds right up my alley, and it came out in January. And I also got this one from ALA. Kind of going along with my sequel reading, I want to finish the Deck of Ohm series by Christina Lynn Herman. This is the sequel to The Devouring Grey, and I really, really like the first one, and I've heard people tell me that this book is a little bit more Stranger Things themed, or more based on Stranger Things, and I love Stranger Things, and I miss that show a lot, so I hope that this one will kind of pique that interest. But yeah, I wonder, I actually listened to the second one recently, so hopefully this one will be a nice conclusion to that series. Another sequel I want to read is Chosen by Kirsten White. This is the sequel to Slayer. I've had this book on every single TBR since January. So, I really just need to bite the bullet and read it, because I like Slayer. And I don't know why I haven't read it, so really, really, really need to get a move on. And the last creepy themed novel is Eventide by Sarah Goodman. This is coming out in October. From Tor Teen. It's set in 1907, and it's a historical fiction mystery that is supposed to be super creepy. So that's all that I need to know. I don't like to go into thrillers knowing too much. Reminds me a little bit of The Diviners, but we will see if I'm right. Next couple are just some pure fantasy novels that I tend to read a lot of in the fall and winter. So one is The Queen's Assassin by Melissa De La Cruz. I got this at New York City Comic Con last year. And I've struggled a little bit with Melissa De La Cruz's writing, but I like books about assassins. So I really hope they like this, and they do have the second one coming out in 2021. So I hope that I like it, and I hope that I actually get around to reading it. Another one that I picked up at ALA was Kinder Poison, and this is A Race for the Crown, A Girl Destined to Die, A Weapon More Powerful Than Any Blade, and this is by Natalie May. This was supposed to come out in June. I don't know if it did because of COVID, but I do have an ARC that I got it from ALA, and I heard really, really good things about it, so hopefully I like it. Another one that I got from there was Forged in Fire and Stars by Andrea Robertson, and this is a Game of Thrones meets Ember in the Ashes and an action-packed fantasy from an international bestselling of the Nightshade series. But she doesn't really tell me what it's about. I know that this one has to do with, like, being a blacksmith, I think. This cover is very, very pretty, but this was supposed to come out in May. But yeah, I like books that kind of have like different elements of fantasy, and I haven't read any books about a blacksmith and a lost throne, a forgotten faith. It makes me think that maybe there's some fake royalty or like hidden royalty involved, which I love that trope. One of my favorites. And then the last fantasy book is one from Wednesday Book is Diamond City. A thrilling adventure through a vibrant city, alive as any character. This one also has to do with assassins, and I like assassins. So, but I don't want to go too much into it, to be honest with you. But I know that her next book is coming out in January. And the last book on this TBR isn't really any, like, themed, but it is They Went Left by Monica Hesse. I have a lot of Monica Hesse books on my TBR. But this is a German 1945 historical fiction read. Heard it's incredibly powerful and really hope that I like it. So those are all the books that are on my TBR for this month. As for my listening game, I really don't audiobook planned. I think I might just try to read to grab like a few shorter ones It just really kind of depends on what the school year is. If I'm going to be commuting or if I'm going to be working from home, that really kind of depends on the audiobooks I'm going to be choosing. But you guys will be following along during my weekly vlogs, which I will still keep doing regardless of if I'm home or not. But I hope you guys are staying safe and being well, and I'm excited to check in with you guys at the end of September to let you know what this month became. If you want day-to-day updates on my life, my Instagram will be below. It's Books and Pops 4000, and I do weekly reading vlogs, but like I'm always a couple of weeks behind. So if you want like more up-to-date updates on my life, I would follow me on Instagram, but also make sure to check out my weekly reading.